You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Blake Baker met with reporters on Thursday. Talked about a lot of stuff. So I was really interested when Blake Baker was talking about the secondary. Look, LSU's defense last year was atrocious. When you're 108th in the country, everything went wrong. Your interior defensive line didn't stop the run. You didn't rush the passer. Your linebackers didn't tackle. And your defensive backs didn't cover. You were just bad everywhere. So, you got a lot of places to improve. And we've spent time talking about all of it. I don't know how much better the interior defensive line is going to be because I think it's incomplete. I'll continue to say this. They're going to add more players out of the portal. They've already added Gio Paez from Wisconsin. That's a guy you know that's coming in. And they're not done. They're going to add more out of the portal. You have to. You don't have enough bodies to play an SEC schedule on the defensive line right now. So you got to add more. Okay. We're all interested in Harold Perkins and how the linebacker thing is going to shape out. But man, LSU built its reputation for so many years as DBU, and it was so unsettling last year to watch LSU be so bad against the pass, to be so inept. And, you know, man, it was conflicting too because when you don't have the personnel to play man, and LSU didn't have the personnel to play man, you play zone. But the problem with that is they could never get the zone defensive concepts down. And when you're not consistent enough to play zone and you're not talented enough to play man, you end up allowing 250 pass yards per game, which is what LSU did last year. So Blake Baker was asked, would he rather play man or zone? And the answer is pretty obvious, but how you get to that end is the real question.
It's based off your personnel a little bit. If you got two guys that you can put out there on an island, it makes your job a lot easier, in my opinion, as a defensive coordinator. But I think it comes down to who you have personnel-wise, and then really trying to present the same picture to the quarterback and the offensive coordinator pre-snap, and giving those guys, an opportunity to not have to sit there and, because it can be exhausting from a physically taxing standpoint to sit there and play press man every single snap. So again, if you were to cut me wide open, we want to play a lot of man, but I also know that we're going to do what's best for our guys back there as well.
Yeah. When you got Derek Stingley and Christian Fulton, you got him. Break. When you got Elias Ricks and Dwight McGlothern or Cordell Flott, hey, 25. You 6'3" guy with arms that hang down past your knees. You go guard him. You got him. That's easy. You'd love that. That's what LSU had for more than a decade. But you go out last year and you're running Deuce Chestnut out there? You're running Zy Alexander out there? Which I think coming back this year may play. Zy wasn't terrible last year. He got injured. That was really unfortunate. But you're talking about a Southeastern transfer. That's not Derek Stingley. That's not Eli Ricks, the number one corner in the country coming from California. That's not what you built that secondary around. So, yeah, man, you had a whole bunch of dudes out of position last year. So much of that this year is how much better is your personnel and how much better coached are they to be able to play in their natural position. So that was kind of what Blake Baker was talking about today when he's like, through spring, what have you seen so far in this development? He mentioned specific players and where they're playing them now.
I've seen some ups and downs. The one thing I'll say is we got guys that'll attack the football. We've done a really, really good job on the back end creating turnovers, especially Sage Ryan sticks out to me. He's had several takeaways this spring. Major Burns has had a really good spring so far. I think the corners have probably grown more than any group from practice 1 to practice what are we in, 11, 12, somewhere like that? I don't know what it is, but those corners have gotten much, much better, really as a unit. I think we have guys probably playing a little more in their natural position on the back end than maybe in the past, so I've been pleased with them. I think we got to continue to grow, and that would be, the motto across summer workouts and everything, but I do think we have some really good pieces to work with back there. I think we have good depth.
That's enough. That's fine. No, that's fine. Guys playing in their natural positions. Who are the two guys by name Blake Baker just mentioned? Who are the two? The two guys he mentioned by name just now. Number one, Sage Ryan. Been really good at turnovers. Where are they playing Sage Ryan? Safety. Where were they playing Sage Ryan last year? Boundary corner. Brian Kelly sat here and told us, well, we think Sage Ryan's a really good tackler. He's a great athlete. That may be true. But you had Deuce Chestnut at corner. That was the problem. You had a short, squatty guy who couldn't cover anybody. So you took a guy, and then you had a bunch of freshmen. You took a guy who's a really good athlete and said, maybe he can cover. Oh, you mean you put Sage Ryan back at safety and he's creating turnovers? Yeah. It's his more natural position. Who's the other guy he mentioned? By name. Major Burns. Where are they playing Major Burns this year? We talked about it. Where's Major Burns going? Star position. Major Burns, not really good in coverage. Good coming downhill. He's physical. He'll put his nose in there. He'll attack the football. Yeah, he can help you in the run. That's going to be the star. But also can turn and cover a little bit when you have him on a guy that's not a physical mismatch. You need him to cover a tight end. He's big enough to do it. You need him to go cover the other team's best receiver. That ain't going to happen. The two guys he mentioned, two guys that have changed position to their more natural position. Oh, it's going well? Shocker. Of course you're going to play better when you're in your more natural position. But the key to that is having corners that can cover. Yeah, I'd love to have Sage Ryan at safety and Major Burns at star. But I need corners that can cover. So how much better? This is the question. We don't know the answer. And you heard him say it. Look, they've improved. The cornerbacks have improved. They got a long way to go. But when you talk about those freshmen that were playing there last year, if it's Toviano was playing corner and Stamps as a true freshman, I mean, you had some guys that were out of position. Jeremiah Hughes, true freshman last year, was turned around a little bit. You're going to get Zy Alexander coming off an injury. I'm excited to see what Jair Brown, the Ohio State transfer, looks like. I'll be excited whenever they do get J.K. Johnson back to see if he's a guy that can give you actual reps on the boundary playing man coverage. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know it. You don't. Nobody knows it yet. We're going to have to wait and see. But just having guys that are more confident that they can play the position, if you call zone coverage that they can actually go execute it and not get turned around, you got receivers running out of the screen where there's no defender in sight. How many times do we see there's a receiver scoring a touchdown, there's no defender in the camera shot? All right, you run zone and you lose assignments, that's what happens. You want to go play man? Great. Do you have cornerbacks good enough to do it? We'll find out. One guy that he was also asked about was P.J. Woodland. P.J. Woodland's one of the freshmen, and this is an interesting one too, because if you remember when we talked about them when they took P.J. Woodland, there were two cornerbacks that were committed in this class. It was Andre Evans and Kai Bates, and they were kids from Orlando and Nashville, and they were 4 stars, and they got processed out of the class. Is basically what happened. I'll say it now. They were committed under Polian. They had some changes on the staff. Obviously, Frank Wilson is the recruiting coordinator, and they were like, not those two. And they ended up signing 2 different cornerbacks, one out of Mississippi, one out of New Orleans. One of them was P.J. Woodland. And they were 3 stars. They weren't as highly rated, but the star rating by the scouting services as the 2 that they sort of pushed out of the class. But we said it here. Do you trust Frank Wilson? That he knows what he's looking for? Well, one of them was P.J. Woodland. And here's what Blake Baker had to say about the freshman corner.
Competitiveness. P.J. Woodland is a competitor. He's feisty. He'll throw it in there. He's physical, and he can run. But more than anything, for a freshman or a high school senior, as you put it, we've thrown him out there with the thrown him out there against our top receivers, and he competes. And that's where it starts. But he's got the physical tools. So I've been really, really impressed by him. It wasn't easy, I promise you, those first 3 days before spring break, he probably thought, what in the world did I do? Coming here early. But man, he's been really impressive these last few days.
He's a dog. I don't know the kid at all. But I know Frank Wilson was here during the 10 years at LSU, and the secondary was awesome. And if he said that kid can play, I want that kid. I'm not telling you P.J. Woodland's going to be a freshman All-American. I have no idea. But I know the kind of athlete LSU had in that secondary for a long time that wasn't there last year. They're getting him back. Again, I'll repeat this a million times between now and the start of the season. Your offense was the best in the country. It's not going to be the best in the country this year. It's going to be really good. It's going to go from 1 to 10. Your defense was 106th in the country. They're awful. I'm not telling you got to go from 106 to 20. Can you go from 106 to 50? Can you just be not the worst defense in the history of the program? And then what does that gap look like? Interested to see, man. Optimism eternal during the springtime. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.